That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. Quick, if you've ever been to Memphis, raise your hand. Oh, wait, I haven't been to Memphis. But who has out there? I see Sandy and I see Rick. Watching one of my buddy Finkel's videos, I was reminded of Romper Room. Do you guys remember when she'd look in her magic mirror and see the kids that were there? And I can remember sitting there watching Miss Patty every day, which, by the way, I learned in later life that not everybody had Miss Patty. I guess Romper Room was like a regional thing, uh, and like different stations had different people. Like someone in Texas might have had Miss Judy or whatever. Anyway, I remember Miss Patty, and she'd sit there going, I see Susie, I see Kathy, I see Billy. Every damn day I'd sit there waiting and waiting. She never saw me. Hello, story of my life, I guess. So anyway, speaking of watching other people's videos, something I was thinking about from watching a lot of these, cop watching type videos and stuff, and seeing different encounters that people have. And I was thinking about my life. And to be honest, as much as I am critical of cops, uh, because of the things I see on camera, and there are a lot of bad cops out there doing bad things, and there are a lot of people who think they're good cops, and they try to be, except they allow the bad cops to do bad things, so they're still not that good of a cop. But anyway, I was thinking back on my personal life, and my personal interactions with cops haven't been too bad. Um, I remember, well, aside from not really cops, but security guards on campus when I was in college. Um, well, long story short, the college had its own security guards, and for some reason they decided they needed extra, and they hired the Pinkerton agency. And a bunch of us, for whatever reason, did not like that. We actually didn't have a lot of problems with the actual college security. I remember the head of security was a guy named Gus, who was also the school's basketball coach. And boy, I should do a video about him sometime. He was a real character. But anyway, um, when they brought the Pinkertons in, I remember we didn't like it, and we basically gave them such a hard time, we ran them off campus. But I digress. That's for you, Dave. Um, but my interactions with actual cops, I was thinking back. I remember one time while I was in college, we'd gone up to Denny's, and for whatever reason, I went out on the 4-lane road and was directing traffic. I was not drunk, by the way. And I remember a cop pulls up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm directing traffic." And he said, "Stop doing that." So I did. I told you, if you've been paying attention, about wrecking Bob's car on my 21st birthday, and the cop decided to let me drive the car home since I was the least drunk. Um, I remember when I worked in that place on Liberty Avenue, the beat cop, wish I could remember his name. He was a really good guy. He'd stop in. Well, there was something else I was trying to think of. actual interaction I had with a cop one time that um, I can't remember now, but like I said, my personal interactions with cops usually turned out all right. Um, and, and these would be times when there was something that I could have actually gotten in trouble for. But a lot of people aren't that lucky. You'll see cops stopping people just because they're walking along the street, giving them a hard time. And I was thinking I've had a couple of interactions that would be, I guess, more Karenish rather than with cops. But it is the kind of thing that I've seen on videos. And I thought of it's sort of a two-part thing. I was home for Christmas the one year while I was going to college. And I went down to the Hallmark store down in Phillipsburg, which is no longer there. But if people remember it, it was over there in the Ames Plaza. And I went there for, of all things, to buy Christmas cards. Now, I'm not generally a browser in stores. I like to go in and get what I'm getting and leave. But I mean, when you're buying Christmas cards, you have to browse. Unless you're going in and just buying like a box of cards. But I was buying specific cards for people, and so you have to go and find the card that matches the person. You're getting one, like Merry Christmas, Sister or something, or you're looking and it's like, oh, this one with the vintage Santa Claus on would be perfect for this person, and you read the messages inside and you go, oh yeah, this would be good for that person. So I was buying 6 or 8 cards, I guess. And I noticed people in the store kind of watching me. And it was one of these things where I thought, they're watching me awful close. They think I'm being suspicious just because I'm going around, walking around looking at the cards. I mean, it's not like if you're in, I don't know what, a grocery store or something, and you seem to be wandering around and, that maybe you're trying to slip stuff under your shirt or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, I thought I was acting perfectly normal for a card shop. But then I'm saying to myself, oh, you're being paranoid. It's like, it's not all about you. Anyway, like I said, I bought 6 or 8 cards and I went up and paid for them. So if they had been suspicious, that should pretty much allay any suspicion, right? I mean, if I was in there trying to get away with something and I noticed they were watching me, but I wanted to just throw them off, I might buy 1 card, right? But anyway, I kept saying to myself, yeah, you're reading this wrong. And the next day, I went back down to that same plaza, to the place that was either right next door or 2 doors over, which we in Pennsylvania call a state store. Any place else you just call a liquor store. But in Pennsylvania, anything other than beer is sold in these state-run stores, which, by the way, is something that should be changed. That should just go public. I don't know. Pennsylvania is such a strange place. Anyway, I go down to the state store. And again, this is a place that deserves a little bit of browsing because I wasn't just going in to buy something for myself. I was getting a bottle of something that I thought in case anybody wanted to have like a shot with Christmas dinner. And I forget what exactly I was buying for that, but I also I was getting a couple of things as gifts for people. I think I got like a bottle of whiskey for my mechanic because he was always good to me. And I'm pretty sure I got a bottle of Lee's favorite brandy for him. And I think I got something for somebody. I don't remember. But I was buying 3 or 4 things. And the guy at the counter was like looking at me. And there was another guy who was like stocking shelves. And the guy at the counter called to the younger guy that was stocking shelves. Is like, hey, Bob, come here, And Bob goes over, and I notice him up there at the registers, just sort of like, whispering to him and that. And again, I'm thinking, he's talking about me. And I mean, this sounds really paranoid, right? And then the other guy, he like leaves. And I'm thinking, he sent the guy out to ask something about me. And the whole time, the 2 different conversations are going on in my head that I know this is what's going on, but I'm also telling myself, what is wrong with you? Why are you so paranoid? And after a couple of minutes, and I saw the guy, he like went over and went out and he walked down. And after a couple of minutes, he came back and he says, she wasn't over there. Now my brain is saying, son of a, that lady at the Hallmark store spread the word around to the other stores that there was this suspicious guy in there. And she gave my description, which is, pretty easy to describe, and probably what I was wearing and that. And so this guy, he recognized me, and now he's thinking I'm in there to steal because I didn't steal anything from the card store, but obviously I'm suspicious. And, this is all running through my mind at the same time. In the back of my mind is, you're paranoid, you're paranoid, you're paranoid. And I walk up to the counter with my, 3 or 4 bottles. As any self-respecting thief would do, go up and buy all this booze. And the guy starts ringing me on. He goes, I think you live over in Southie, do you? Don't you? And I think I said, I don't think I just said no. I think I said something like, no, I'm from Osceola. Oh, he says, yeah, but he goes, yeah, I think you work up at the hospital. And I just like went, no. And I think he like asked something else, and I just didn't. I just put my money down on the counter. But it was obvious, and I've often thought later that I should have said something, something about being interrogated, but I just let it go. But afterwards, I'm totally convinced that my paranoia was on mark, and I mean, at the time, I had long hair and stuff, kind of looked a little hippie-ish, but still, I mean, like I said, in both places, I made fairly large purchases, considering what kind of stores they were. It's not like I went in and looked around and realized they were watching me and just bought a pack of gum or something and left. And so I don't know. So I can understand these people that are harassed on these videos. I've often thought, now I'm not going to overemphasize this, but I often thought that gave me just a little bit of empathy for black people because they have to deal with this every day of their life. going in a store and having people follow them around and that. Which, by the way, ended up, I forgot to mention that ended up happening in the Hallmark store. There was two workers in there, and one of them ended up always happened to be restocking cards in whatever aisle I was in. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Um, but yeah, I guess the moral of the story is don't count your chickens. No, that's not it. Um, always wear clean underwear. Pretty sure there's a moral in there somewhere. Maybe it's stop being an asshole and don't judge people by their looks. How's that? Peace out.